Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The New World. And in today's video, we discuss the lack of love given to small market NBA teams such as the Memphis Grizzlies, San Antonio Spurs, Detroit Pistons, Charlotte Hornets, and more. But before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button as we are on the road to 10K subs. Turn on those notifications and stay tuned for more content. And comment if you think small market teams should get more love when it comes to promotion compared to bigger markets. Now, Barto, I'm gonna hand it off to you. How do you feel small market teams have been handled by the NBA?
Appreciate the intro, my boy. As my boy Jay said, we are going to be documenting the decline and the abandonment that the NBA has had upon small market teams. Let us guys know what you think about this video, and if you would like us to do individual analysis or breakdowns on each of these small market teams, because there are a lot of teams out there that are not being shown proper love, and there are a lot of teams out there that are also really struggling and need some additional assistance. But documentation of the NBA's decline has really become a preeminent storyline dating back a few years now, and honestly, the motivations for this drop-off are pretty endless. And depending on the release of this video, you probably heard a few of our thoughts on this subject. Personally speaking, the NBA product has become rather unwatchable. We understand that die-hard basketball fans, media pundits, and the league itself would continue to provide excuses, as well as critique the average viewer or casual fan. But ladies and gentlemen, do not worry. You may not be able to thoroughly explain why you don't like watching this bullshit product, but that is why the New World has taken a keen interest in chronicling the shared viewpoint of the why behind all of this that you probably have had inclinations about, but now we can put your sentiments into perspective and shine some light on this issue. Firstly, we have to discuss the current environment or culture of the modern day NBA. I could compare it to other businesses, but there are many examples, so let's just settle on a subset. Legacy media companies, specifically liberal media factions. They have kind of died. Much akin to legacy media over the years under the Adam Silver regime, the NBA has adopted an elitist culture, better known as elitism. An elitist culture can be defined as a subculture of society's privileged groups that is characterized by exclusivity and a sense of superiority. Essentially, what the NBA has done is that they have marginalized the average consumer or common man by cultivating to an audience of high status or stature. Let's just evaluate this product real quick. Whether it's the style of play with the threes, the lack of physicality, the players' focus on their personal brand or public outlook, the media coverage, man, that's constantly focused on teams on the coast like the Lakers, Warriors, Knicks, and Celtics, or the Heat. Or it's the league's advocacy and endorsement of liberal ideologies from a political standpoint. Ladies and gentlemen, all of these factors go hand in hand. The NBA has abandoned you, the common man, the average ordinary citizen, clocking in 5+ days a week for 40+ hours to earn an honest living and paycheck. These are things that, like I said, we will discuss in future videos. So if you enjoy this type of content, we will continue to document this as an ongoing series. But for now, let's break down the shameful disregard and disrespect of small market franchises in the NBA. Through this video, I will be using the Memphis Grizzlies as a central example for small market teams, being as not only do they represent the hometown team, but they are notoriously known as the smallest market in the NBA right now. As of now, they rank dead last in attendance on the 2024-25 season, averaging only 16,000 per game, but they are ranked third in the Western Conference. Unlike other competent sports leagues, in the NBA, if a small market team prospers, they do not receive attention or respect. You look at teams like the Orlando Magic, fourth in the Eastern Conference with no primetime coverage. 34 games into the NBA season, the Cleveland Cavaliers have been clear-cut the most consistent and best team with the best record, but are not viewed as a true contender to be taken seriously in this weak-ass league. Meanwhile, teams like the Lakers or Warriors dominate the news cycles whenever they go on a 3-game winning streak. Whether we want to acknowledge it publicly or not, sports leagues have biases, especially the NBA. We're talking biases to players and teams. The NBA clearly only cares about 4 teams: Lakers, Warriors, Celtics, Knicks, in that order. And really 2 players, LeBron James and Steph Curry. We have concrete evidence to support this with the list of nationally televised games per NBA team. I'm just gonna give you guys the top 5. Lakers, 39 nationally televised games. Warriors, 36. Celtics, 34. Knicks, 34. Mavericks, 30. Let's take a look at the bottom. Raptors, 4. Trailblazers, 4. Pistons, 4. Wizards, 5. Bulls, 5. Jazz, 7. Magic, 9. You guys see what I'm talking about? Part of the problem is that storytelling in the NBA is non-existent, which the NBA media has to also retain ownership. The NBA, being a players' league, has coddled the players and treated them as spoiled, entitled babies. They really have limited access to the media, which has eradicated the connection between the player and the consumer. Never is there a focus on getting to know the players better. How do they interact with their teammates, their coaches, employees of the team, and the community? Historically, the average viewer was able to see on programs like NBA TV and ESPN devoted segments to these topics. This will not just shine a light on superstar players and big market teams, but more importantly, those smaller market teams that require more promotion and effort in order to achieve relevance and bring in more revenue. Fans have shown to take an interest in the lives of celebrities and athletes. NBA, if you commit to emphasizing storytelling, the fans will gravitate to that. More access equates to more curiosity, which equates to more viewership. What I think is a big problem is that the NBA fears that if small market teams are successful, if they go deeper into the postseason, the fans will not want to watch. But honestly, the reason fans will not want to watch is because we haven't seen these teams consistently. We haven't seen them play on television, and we haven't even seen them outside of the games in those special features that I mentioned. The NBA, specifically Adam Silver, just navigate from a position in terms of how they can operate their business. They want to appease their entitled players, they want to appease their flashy franchises, and most importantly, they want to appease their sponsors. I will say that social media does play a heavy part in how current athletes interact with the public. With so much access, that term star player has become oversaturated. Now, if a player is averaging 20 points a game, even if he's on a bad team, he's viewed as a star. And mainstream media and/or social media will assert that if he doesn't win a championship, then his career is a failure. Or if he's a superstar player, if he doesn't finish with multiple championships, then he's underachieved and his career will be viewed as a disappointment. These are unfair expectations, and they've really ruined the way that we look at small market teams. The media has manipulated this ideal to put pressure on franchise players of teams that haven't won championships, specifically those small market teams, to join forces with other players, preferably the teams on the coast, such as the Warriors, Lakers, Clippers, Suns, Heat, Knicks, Sixers, Celtics. When's the last time you ever heard the media argue that a star player should join forces with Ja Morant in Memphis, or Anthony Edwards in Minnesota, or Wemby in San Antonio, or Zion in New Orleans? It hasn't happened, and it never will happen. The top two destinations for a star player are going to be either the Warriors or Lakers, because the league prioritizes their bias for those two faces of the league. And if that isn't a viable option, then they're going to relate to the teams on the coast that I mentioned earlier. Additionally, from a media perspective, clearly the main priority is selling controversy, because negativity does sell in big market news, only because big market teams and the quote-unquote faces of the league, Bron and Steph, receive consistent promotion by the league, as shown by the number of nationally televised games. In the eyes of the media, small market teams are not a sexy enough topic of conversation to elicit content. This is understandable, because the debate style of entertainment sells from a holistic standpoint. Media factions are only trying to do their jobs, because with the NBA in this continual depression, there's not even a lot of coverage on basketball unless it's a niche show like NBA Today or NBA TV. But my question is, what is the future outlook of the NBA? What is the end goal? Because yes, the NBA accumulated $11 billion last year. And yes, they signed that 11-year, $78 billion media deal. But are they reaching a breaking point? What I mean by that is, when are they reaching the point of becoming irrelevant? Because we are exiting this Bron and Steph era in due time, and eventually this league is going to have to ride on the shoulders of their young talent. And if we scan the NBA talent, this is what you have, ladies and gentlemen. Anthony Edwards, Minnesota Timberwolves, small market team. Victor Wembanyama, San Antonio Spurs, small market team. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Oklahoma City Thunder, small market team. Ja Morant, Memphis Grizzlies, small market team. LaMelo Ball, Charlotte Hornets, small market team. Need I go on? As the NBA continues to evolve, the size of the market each team occupies has a significant effect on their operations and success. Each team faces unique challenges due to their relatively small TV market sizes, which when we talk about a small market, basically that is a market that falls under 1.5 million homes. That influences their positioning on the NBA team market size ranking. So 10 teams can be included in this bracket of small market teams. In the shadows of bustling metropolises, the challenge of small market teams becomes apparent in the realm of advertising and sponsorship. The advertising potential in NBA circles often correlates directly with the market size. As sponsors seek maximum exposure, smaller markets struggle to present an equally attractive proposition, limiting their ability to drive significant revenue through these channels. The NBA free agent marketability is yet another area where small markets can't compete head-on with their larger counterparts. The appeal of playing in a renowned city with an extensive fan base and heightened media presence often sways athletes' decisions, diminishing the capacity of small market teams to attract marquee talent solely based on location. With those players and respective franchises I listed, there have been a few organizations that have managed to achieve success despite their unfavorable market conditions, such as the Memphis Grizzlies and the Oklahoma City Thunder. These teams have developed unique strategies to sustain competitiveness in this elitist, biased league. Specific strategies include prioritizing draft picks by acquiring high potential players overlooked by larger markets, emphasizing player development by refining raw talent to formulate the core of your team, establishing community engagement with focuses of including with your local fan base to enhance game day revenue, and finally, innovative coaching, which establishes a culture and unique identity for your franchise. To conclude, in my honest opinion, small market teams are overlooked, underrated, and disrespected by many factors throughout the NBA community. But we cannot feel too much pity for these organizations because it is a business at the end of the day, and it needs to be viewed as such. In today's NBA, so much spotlight is pointed at if a franchise wins a championship or if they generate a lot of revenue, when most of these perspectives are based and do not necessarily determine success for every franchise. Unfortunately, not every NBA franchise can win a championship, especially in this modern climate. There are a lot of underlying factors that can get in the way of a small market team's path to win. For example, the Memphis Grizzlies, not only are they the smallest market team in the league with only a net worth of $3 billion, mind you, the average worth of an NBA franchise is $4.4 billion, but they only have one star player being Ja Morant. With his awesome playstyle and charisma, the NBA would love to see him in a bigger market like New York. And if the Grizzlies didn't have an established culture that focused on hard work, diligence, and resilience, which has led them to their 23-13 record, then mainstream media would be clamoring for Ja Morant to demand a trade and leave the city of Memphis, which, if you guys didn't know, is a city of poverty, riddled with violence, and deemed the most dangerous and dissolute city in America without hope. Sports brings communities together, and regardless of these handicaps, teams must not lose focus. They have to continue to strive to achieve success. I will note once again that this is a business and we cannot feel sorry for these organizations because at the end of the day, they're still going to generate millions upon millions of dollars on annual. But nevertheless, we're just stating the facts, ladies and gentlemen. As a small market team, do not operate in the realm of comparing yourself to major market franchises. That is an unwinnable battle that you will lose every time. As the great Ray Dalio stated, you have to establish your own principles and create your own measures of success. That and only that is the way that you can defeat the corruption of the NBA elitist system.